I'm too quiet, you might hear customers screaming upstairs. So, hello, my name's Dan Fridd, and I am the Senior Client Success Manager for Edelweiss. As I said a moment ago, I work from the basement of a bookshop, and that's where the UK team is situated. So, today's webinar is going to be all about Edelweiss Designer. And I've recorded a little video for you and a little presentation as well. So I'm going to go straight into the presentation. Bear with me 1 second while I start that. Fantastic. Okay, so Edelweiss Designer. It's our newest feature to Edelweiss. It allows publishers to create wonderful looking documents using the Onyx data that you're already providing us. The format of the documents can be a combination of lots of different types of templates. I'll talk about templates and documents and how they relate to Designer overall. But this is going to be as much a tutorial as it is an opportunity to show you what Designer is. I have used a publisher called David and Charles. Their data, I really like their data, so I decided to use theirs to create some little templates to give you a little feel for what Designer can do. So, moving on. What is Designer? Designer allows publishers to create and customize the ideal presentation of their titles faster and easier than ever before. This add-on tool to catalog services can be used by your whole team, generate order forms, sales sheets, catalogs, and much more. In the video that you're about to work, we'll talk about how Designer works. I'm going to show you some basic concepts before we start the video, and then how to create and style templates and how to create and customize documents. I'm going to give you some examples coming up from current users as well. And then at the end, we'll give you some information on how to register for a demo, or how to register for a trial, and your pricing structure as well. Okay, so the key features for Edelweiss Designer, the key advantage it has over other software you might be using already for designing your AI sheets or your printed documents or whatever you're using your title data in, is that Edelweiss uses your metadata. It's updated as soon as your Onyx files are processed by us. All of them are updated in real time, which is obviously a huge time saver with regards to regenerating documents all the time just because one price has changed. Hopefully a lot greener as well. Design materials with your own branding and style. So Edelweiss Designer has a wonderful system of pinning brand colors. You can use your own fonts, and you can remember key titles for working with. So there's lots of tools very specifically for the book trade that are really going to assist you in your design. And then there are so many export options as well. Slideshows and presentations. So you can send your customer or your partners or somebody that you're trying to maybe sell rights to, you can send them a presentation via a link. That's one way of distributing the material that you produce, but we also give you tools to create PowerPoints, to create PDFs, and even order forms and Excel files as well to go along with the other documents. So just a few basic concepts. I'm only going to go through the first slide on this, and then I'm going to hover for a little bit on the next 2 slides after that, because there's a lot of information there. And you can rewatch if there are questions regarding them. So 2 concepts. You've got a template. A template is your area for designing whatever kind of document you want. It serves as your preset format. Your selected titles will be run through when you create your document, and it determines what title data is included and how it's arranged and styled. And then a document is a combination. It's a list of titles, and then it's matched up with your template. But it's not just one template. It could be a combination of 20 different styles of templates in a document. It really is up to you, and we'll show you how quickly and easily you can do that as well. So this is the slide I decided not to read all of it for, because there's quite a lot there, as you can see. So I'm just going to hover on this slide a little bit, and then you can pause the video when you receive it afterwards. It's just talking about some of the levels and some of the concepts within Designer. And then the same here, so your different template types and custom data. And custom data really is something we've got some brilliant help documents for. So it's something you would look into after the event. Fantastic. So I do say in the video, I'm not a designer. I'm a techie at heart, but I can have a good go at some good template designs. However, we've had some professionals do some work as well. So these are actually live and out there. Some are printed documents used for conferences, used for actual catalogs, you know, bound and everything like that. We give you the tools to do all of that. So here we go. We've had a lovely Rizzoli example that they've worked on. I'm going to just nip through these. A few different styles of templates we can see here, some full page internal spreads as well included in this one. Here we've got an order form that Hardy Grant have done, some backlist titles included on a main selling sheet. I should have a stipulation here that in the UK we call selling sheets AI sheets, so there's a little interpretation for you. It's just a half-page spread here, a half-page template with some basic information on each title. And then moving on, we're going to start the video. So I will be quiet now, and my video colleague will take over. 1 second.
I'm starting this webinar at the end. I want to show you the results of a well thought out document that utilises many different types of templates. I'll show how easily you can mix and match between single page templates, 2-page templates, multi-page templates and multi-book per page templates, with the addition of a front page, filler pages, headers and an index. There are, of course, almost unlimited numbers of alternative style templates I could show you, but let's not get too bogged down in options. I want to show you quick wins and some simple tips and tricks built into a designer system custom built with publishers and the book industry in mind. So let's start by showing you a completed document and work our way back from there. Here we have our completed document. In my folder for the purposes of this webinar. Your own folders might be unique to your own needs, be they for each user, department, division, brand requirements, or purpose such as rights acquisition, bookseller presentations, AIs, or trade shows and conferences, printed, virtual via a shared link, PDF, PowerPoint, or even order forms. I use this publisher, David & Charles, because of their excellent bibliographic data, their bright and colourful high-quality jackets and spreads, and their range of comparable titles. Remember that with Edelweiss Designer, your documents are instantly updated with a new Onyx feed, so your documents never need to be manually updated with a change. That is, of course, unless you want to do it manually. That's always an option. So, starting off, this is my front page. I've used their brand guidelines to set background colours and border colours, all of which can be stored by Designer. Moving on, here we have a typical AI sheet highlighting key bibliographic data in a stored snippet that can be duplicated in any template. More on snippets later. As I move through the fields, you'll see a grey highlight. These are clickable, giving you the ability to edit the completed document should you need to add a key selling point that hasn't made the onyx yet, or any other bibliographic detail. On the bottom left, you can see how it's pulled in 3 comparable titles. I will show you later how you can pick and choose these. I'd also like to draw your attention to some line separators that give your template areas some definition. These are easy to insert anywhere in your template. This template is my default template for the document and is 2 pages, giving us the opportunity to show several spreads on page 2. Which spreads and how many you choose are set in your template design, but can be swapped out here too. I've chosen 9 and put a brand colour border around each to really make them pop out. Moving on, still the default template, and you can see how the document smoothly switches to the next title. I want to show you this next slide to illustrate the ease at which a spread you might need to change can be done without waiting for your Onyx to update it. Here, I can click on the draft spread and click to upload my finished image. Next, we're on to a filler page. You may want to segment your document into publication months, author, format, or in this case, category. I really love the images for this next title, so you might not notice it yet, but we've actually switched to an 8-page template. First page is the same as our previous ones, but as we move forward, we can see each page has 1 spread per page in full, glorious colour. So, if you've all completed your cross-stitch doll, I'll move into our 15 per page template. Simple bibliographic details, perfect for backlist or previous titles from the author or series. Again, I'm a fan of borders, so my template has 1 around each title. When designing a multi-book page, you work with the small area for 1 book and it's replicated for the full page. And now we're back to our default template. I won't take you through the full document, instead I'll show you how you can skip to any page you like, and if I head right to the end, you can see an index. These can be designed just like any other template, can be used as ordering areas or just for reference. You can also use a variety of sorting options for your index. So, let's go back a step in my reverse presentation and show you some of the tips and tricks to editing a document. For this, we'll need our Edit Manage button from the Documents area. This is where all the real magic happens. First off, let's sort out our view. I prefer a 4x2 view of my titles, but I realise for any of you following along at your desk, you may not see the detail of some of the buttons. Down here on the bottom right, let's move our Help button out of the way first and click on Pages. Here, we can zip to any page in our document, but crucially, we can set our display. Let's go with a simple 2x1. You can also choose to show or hide our Pages panel on the left with these buttons, giving you even more space to view your design. Up here, we can rename our document and even create our own collection from the catalogue we were working with, giving us even more options for swapping and reordering the titles we're working with. We have output options in here as well. This is the only place you'll be able to create a unique link for your presentation to share with the person you want to see your presentation, so remember this button. A publisher commented recently on how the PDF was going to be too big to email. Simple solution: send them this link and give them the tools to create the PDF. Our Excel button here simply creates a spreadsheet, which would likely be used as an order form, but could be used for anything. It can include images, but otherwise contains the key bibliographic details you'd expect on any order form. It doesn't contain every field in your template, but it does contain every book in your document, in the order that the document is in. And then, of course, there's the all-important PowerPoint option. You'll be amazed at the speed Edelweiss Designer creates these, but of course, with high-resolution, image-heavy documents, it may ask you to go away and make a cup of tea while it finishes off. If they're not instant, they'll sit in your Designer downloads, ready for when you're back with your tea. We have a very specific PowerPoint template design page size. It's worth thinking about whether PowerPoint is a requirement when setting up your template, as PowerPoint is quite fussy about accepting other sizes. A couple of other options up here are copy and delete, and we even keep a version control option for those horrible moments when you realise you've made a mistake. For those of you with a print subscription, you'll be able to add bleed and margin for your printers. Moving left are default templates for the whole document. I mentioned earlier my defaults is the 2 per page template. If I decided I wanted all titles still using default to switch to that lovely 8-page design, I can do that in one click. Changing this won't change titles you've already customized with other templates, those 15 per page titles for instance. Your documents won't have a header, footer or index when you first create it, so here's where you would set or change them. It will even give you the option to edit or copy the template. One note, you can only edit your own templates, so the option to copy one to make your own change is really handy. A document, however, can be edited by multiple users, so to make sure there's no arguments, we have developed a system of checking out a document when you're making edits, indicated by this green lock. Image resolution can be set up here, obviously somewhat dependent on the images you're sending us. This setting will also have an impact on the size of PDFs and PowerPoints, but load times on presentations are not too badly affected. Now, related titles. If a document contains a template with a related title area, then this button becomes available. You'll see I've set my related titles for my first 23 pages and then stopped. Setting them is so easy, I wanted to show you this. My crochet activity toys has none set. Let's fix this. Click to set, then in this case I'm going to select comp. Look, it even gives you images to choose from. If you're a publisher that doesn't supply comps, not to worry, we have a search option too. The order of a document is obviously very important to you, and Designer locks in your titles to the order the catalogue was first created. With a document based on your own collections, you have ultimate control over moving titles around freely, but when working as a team, that's not always possible, and of course, you'll want to move titles around or even delete them without changing the Edelweiss catalogue. Designer lets you break that lock using these chain icons on the corner of the title and on the side panel. Breaking the lock means you can move the title without it changing anything except for where the title sits in the document. The lock also lets you swap out a title should you need to. Okay, but Dan, how were you mixing in all those template designs in the first place? This really is the easy part. Let's say we want Pompomania to pop out using an 8-page spread. Simple. This star next to the design icon indicates we're using our default template. Simply click it and select Swap Out Template. All templates appropriate for the size and dimension of your document will be shown, complete with a preview of the title. You can browse other users' templates too, and a few generic ones, and there's a section for checking which templates are already in use in the document, plus a number that indicates how many pages are taken up by it. Select our 8-page template and we're done. Headers and footers are just as easy, and the cog gives you different options depending on the template type. For a 1 or more page template, we can see which data is standard and which is custom. And on our 15 title page, we have the same clear information with the addition of the ability to skip a space. Maybe you want a graphic in the middle of your page, or to use the space in another way. Insert your skip, and you have that space to play with. Our options to add our filler pages or delete an entire page are down here at the bottom. Okay, I think I've hung around enough on this page. Hopefully you can see how, with the right templates in your locker, you can really start to build out a complete document. But Dan, I hear you shout, All we want is simple AI sheets for my catalogue that will update with our Onyx so that we don't have to keep recreating every single time a price changes or a pub date moves, like we do with our old software. Okay, so we'll take one step back for the easiest win of the day, creating that document from a catalogue or collection. All Designer subscribers will have this palette icon. Clicking it sends that list of books into Designer, ready for you to choose your template. Choose your orientation and size, and the templates that fit your needs are clickable. Here's my standard AI template. Click it, and the document is created. Of course, no opportunity missed. I had to show off the ability to add a barcode in this template. You may also be excited to know that sounds and videos can be embedded into a document, as well as any custom data you might need that Onyx can't provide. There's a really good help document for this. Okay, so we're really ready to begin now. You may be lucky enough to have a talented designer on your team, but a designer I am not. However, I hope I can show you that even with my limited skills, we can end up with some beautiful looking documents. So, we'll want to start in templates. Not rocket science so far. I will just point out filters are important. Documents and templates that you see are decided upon by these filters. However, there is a very handy search which ignores your filters. To edit an existing template, you can select it from here. To create a new one, you've guessed it, we'll click Create. This pop-up will try and work out what you're trying to create by the filters you had set, but you can choose what you need here. Let's do something we haven't seen before, a 2 per page template split horizontally. We'll give it a name and choose Portrait. It won't let us save it until we name it, so go ahead and name it something easily recognizable. Remember, you might need to search for it one day. Where's it gone, Dan? Right, filters. There it is. Click Edit and we can start. A working title is essential before you can start though. Select any title to work with, but my advice is to choose a few and pin them for future use. Designing a template for key selling points using a title with no key selling points is not that helpful. Our template was 2 per page, so we have half a page to work with. We can set some default styles for our whole template, which include text colors, size, font, and more, background colors, and borders. Quick note here that a background color won't remove the grid we're working on, but it will show in the resulting documents. On the design area, we'll see it wanting to start us off with a design block. I usually start with a simple design block, make it roughly jacket size, and add my jacket using the content block button. This gives us all the available bibliographic data separated by type. Let's select jacket, and there it is. Typically, I won't add anything else to a content block containing an image. They like to be alone. So, click out of the Elements area and use the back button to move back to the Template Home area. We're going to need an area for a title, maybe a subtitle, and author. So let's add a new design block. Drag it where you need it, give it the space you want for it, and go ahead and add your content. Title and subtitle. But I want my author to headline too. Clicking on our newly added title gives us the option to add a cross, and selecting author allows us to select just the author or the full contributor string. It will default to putting a bullet point between fields, but you can change that here. Or maybe you want to add some custom text. Simply add a field between your title and author and choose static text. In this case, I'm going to use by. I'm going to want to bold my text here, so I'll set some options on the overall style for the block, but maybe overwrite that style for my subtitle. I may also want to separate this area with a border or line, set my brand colour for the border, and remember my brand colour using the pin. You can see my previous pinned colours are all there for easy access. there's an area for your hex color code too, which will be in most branding guidelines. Once I'm happy with this as styles for my titles, I may also want to save the whole block as a snippet for use in other documents. The blue Save As snippet is where you would do this. It will remember everything about the block to use in another template. I'm going to keep this relatively simple now by adding a few simple areas. And then finish off by adding some spreads. In a template this size, you might not use spreads, but it's a nice function to show off. We've added interiors. Now to say how many we need. We'll start with 1 and go 4 across. You'll notice you can undo any mistakes you make. And the position pixels are priceless for alignment of your blocks. Let's finish up by creating our document using our new template. Quickly done, but effective. As I started out by saying, the Edelweiss Designer system has been created with the book industry at its core, and work to develop improvements continue daily. We love feedback, and all good ideas get proper attention. I'm able to give you a sneak peek at an area we're testing now to make the file system more intuitive. It takes a lot from the Windows Explorer type interface, with double clicking and easier searching for those templates that were hard to find before. Lastly, I'd just like to say, if you struggle to follow along today, our help documents for Designer are excellent. All you have to do is remember some of the keywords that we've spoken about today. Things like related titles, for instance, or custom data. The help documents covering those are far more in-depth than I could ever have covered today. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you enjoy Designer.
And welcome back. I hope you can all hear me again. So moving just swiftly through the last part of the presentation, what can you do next? By all means, contact one of the Edelweiss crew for a 1-month trial. The next slide is going to give you a link to do that on a form. Pricing depends on your number of users in your organization and the front list count for your publisher, and also whether you want print-ready documents or standard presentation and PowerPoint and things like that. And then do have a look at the knowledge base and the on-demand help and tips. The designer section, as I just said in the video, is absolutely brilliant. There's a full training program in there. Do have a look even before you decide to take Edelweiss Designer. So a couple of QR codes for you. The top one will take you straight into the free trial register for Designer, and that's a 1-month free trial. And then the bottom one is just our general information about all of our services. So catalog services, Designer, DRCs, everything else. So please do, if I've hovered around on there for long enough for you all to quickly scan them, I'm going to move on to the last slide, which is a very big thank you. And keep the questions coming in. We're not in any rush to head off. So I'm sure the team have been answering any questions that have come up. But if you do have any questions after the event, support@aboventhetreeline.com is your place to go. The team there will pass anything on to us that we need to deal with, but should be able to help you with most of your questions. So are there any questions that I need to deal with, or are they all answered in the chat?
I'm actually not seeing any questions, Dan, so hopefully that means we were very clear. But yeah, as Dan said, if any questions do come up, just email support@aboventhetreeline.com. It looks like someone did ask, once we sign up for Designer, how can we get more personalized training? And I would say it's great to have your team work through the Designer training page, but if a call would be helpful, we can always set up a more personalized demo.
Yeah, absolutely. Good. Well, if there's no other questions live, like I say, do contact the support team. We're always happy to help. So thank you very much for attending, and see you all soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.